listening to a playback of some down-tempo song, and there was no bass. Prince didn't want any bass in the song, so I remember Lenny said to him something like, well, shouldn't there be a bass guitar in that song? And Prince looks at him and he says, that's it, out, all of you out now, get out, that's it. And so I'm out in the lobby of the studio going, well, don't worry about him, he's really a good guy, you know. Here he's throwing the whole entourage from Warner Brothers out. Prince was right, and he was right in what he was doing, and nobody was going to get in his way to doing it.
Warner Brothers wanted Prince to put together a band from California. Instead, Prince went back home and started putting things together there.
All of a sudden, Prince got to deal with Warner Brothers, and they were down in Owens. Owen had a studio down by, where's that, Loring Park. So Prince had me come down there, and I get down there, and he's got like drums and everything set up. Just I came back from playing with Fleetwood Mac and everything. I was like, wow, man, all our dreams. He had met Santana, and he said he was doing an album and everything, and I was like, yeah. And I seen everything, all, you know, for proof. I seen what was going on, promotion and all this stuff, and I said, wow, man, this is pretty incredible. He said, you want to be in the group? And I said, again, yeah, I'll do it. So we got Andre back, and the whole band was kind of practicing on the side.
Started working close together with Owen, you know, doing little things at first. You know, they needed a rehearsal space, so I gave up my home for them to rehearse and form the band at my house. Andre was immediately in the band, you know what I mean, because they lived together. So that worked out fine for them. Bobby Z was his drummer. Not that he was a great drummer, it was because he was a white drummer. And Prince wanted a mixed group because there were a lot of better drummers around at the time than Bobby Z. You know, not saying that he wasn't a good drummer, but there were a lot other better ones that Prince could have taken, but they were black, you know. And one of them was Chaz, his own cousin, which is a great drummer, but he didn't want a black drummer.
Bobby and I had gotten a conversation about it, and Bobby said if I made it, I would be making it selling records behind the record shop, you know, in the store, and he'd be the one. I mean, it got that kind of little touchy, and Prince allowed him to say that to me, and I thought it was kind of really weird, being that I'd known him all my life, and we've been buddies, and that kind of thing came down.
They rehearsed long hours. I'm serious. I mean, Prince had these guys working. He had them complaining because he was working them so hard. They'd start off around 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, and around 10 or 11 o'clock at night, they were just finishing up, you know, everybody. There was Matt Fink, Bobby Z, Andre Simone, Dez Dickerson, Gail Chapman, and of course, Prince.
Prince's would-be coming out showcase gig was at the Capri Theater, I think in the early January of 78 or 79, and it was mostly a showcase for the record company to see what he could do, so they flew in all of these California-baked studio execs from Warner Brothers, put him up in this dilapidated, poorly heated theater on the north side called the Capri.
That night we were there at the door taking the tickets and doing all that kind of stuff.
I came in late because I had to get Prince's boots shined.
Didn't Mo Austin come?
We had the Warner Brothers.
Mo Austin was here, man.
I know Barry Gross was here, and I know
Mo Austin came because them guys came at the Russ there, and them guys came at the same time. Came in a limo, that's right. They had the Warner Brothers jackets on. Did any of you guys get a chance to talk to Prince before he went on? Where was he? Does anybody know? Because I caught him in the bathroom. I seen him when he was just getting ready to go when he was in the bathroom. He was scared to death.
I thought he was like backstage or something.
Scared to death.
The KMOJ announcer that night sounded downright prophetic. When introducing Prince, the DJ proclaimed the power and the glory, the Minneapolis story, Prince. The send-up, unfortunately, was better than the performance.
Prince came out and performed. You know, there were a few little girls screaming and stuff, but for the most part, it was a very unremarkable, unmemorable show. The thing that struck me most about it was that how wild Prince and Andre and Dez Dickerson all looked, and yet how how uneven Prince's showmanship was. It was far below what it would be even a year later when the second album came out. But I can remember for the encore, he just kind of walked on stage and said in this very deep voice, which I think took everybody by surprise, you know, if you don't make some more noise, we're just not going to play. And it was like, well, who cares? I think everybody had seen enough and had known enough that he wasn't ready for any sort of concert tour or record tour.
And I actually rode home with Prince that night, and Warner Bros. Didn't feel like they were ready to go on tour, which I was kind of happy in a way. And then in a way, Prince was so devastated that he actually looked like he was going to cry, because it would look like the end of the world because they didn't accept the band wasn't ready. And I kept saying, man, even though to my displeasure of not playing, I still was pumping him, going, man, that doesn't mean anything. You'll go back. That doesn't mean nothing because they're not ready for the band now. I mean, hey, go back and do some more stuff. And that night was probably the last night I really had a real communication with him and seen some sensitivity. It was because it devastated him that he thought the band was groomed enough, and Warner said.
Prince, I think, wanted it to happen faster, and because we had all deluded ourselves with this whole deal that we were going to be multimillionaires, when it didn't happen the way that we wanted it and needed it to happen at that time, I think we all became very disappointed, and we started to wear on each other.
I don't think it was Prince that was changing that much as the people that were around him that were changing. His popularity was growing very quickly, and some of his friends, they wouldn't talk to him the same way as they talked to him before. It wasn't like, hey Prince, how you doing, man? How's it going? It would be like, Prince, wow, yeah, man, how's it going, man? It was a different, I can't even do it right, but they looked at him in awe. They looked at him as a star rather than looking at him as a human being who had a job in the music industry.
I can remember after the first album came out and it did just so, here we are sitting around sort of licking our wounds and saying, well, and I'm coming up with that manager talk, you know, well, that was a good first start, you know, blah, 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 this and that. Our relationship at that point started to deteriorate just a little bit because the lines between sort of being his surrogate parents and being a manager and being able to draw the boundaries between all that and bring him information that he needed to know and the reality blows of the business, and at the same time sort of be his father figure, really were wearing thin on all of us. And at that time he was getting a little upset about all this, and then bang, we're sitting there and this record Funky Town comes out by this young white kid from Minneapolis, and all of a sudden we're looking at the charts. We said, wait a minute, this other record from this young white kid just went #1 on the black charts, on the urban charts. Then it went #1 on the pop charts, then it went #1 on the dance charts, then it goes #1 every free country on earth.
They called me and said, by the way, it sold 23,000 albums in New York the first day it came out. I said, is that good? I didn't know. They said, that is good. You got a monster.
I don't know if Prince will ever cop to this, but I think that record served to propel him. I know it caught him, it had to. I think that served to propel him on to really do what he had to do.
But things were changing in Prince's court.
When Owen Husney and Prince broke up, you know, it was kind of an emotional letdown for me because Owen did a lot, you know, for Prince, you know. Maybe Prince outgrew him or something like that, you know, because Owen was running the ad company and being a manager at the same time. And maybe Prince was kind of like telling Owen to do little minor things like space heaters and, you know, little things like that, just to pick at him, just